Hello.
Welcome back to Holy Heck.
Yes, welcome back, everybody.
I am your co-host, Katie.
And I'm your co-host, Grace.
And today we are doing Grace's testimony.
Yes.
How
Yes,
you
we
feeling?
are. I'm excited, but
Good.
I'm nervous, of course. But I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you told a lot of people your testimony as well?
A few here and there.
Okay.
More, as I was thinking about it and like preparing, more than I realized. But I feel like kind of currently, not very often.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it.
Okay.
Where does all this start?
All of it starts, I feel like the big build up to my testimony and everything happening starts very early.
Yeah.
Elementary school, more stuff middle school, more stuff high school, all of it. So
Yeah.
we'll just get right into it. The bulk of my testimony has to do with like my parents, my relationship with my dad,
Right.
and then just like unfortunate relationships and examples of men in my life, unfortunately. And so we'll go through all of it.
Yeah. Let's get to it.
Yes, so parents' relationship. There was probably like 3 or 4 times in elementary school that they had like almost gotten a divorce, and it was very strange.
Yeah.
Like my mom would come in and be like, hey, like dad's gonna go stay in the RV for a little bit. Like he's just like, I don't even remember her exact words and how she would explain it to us. Because again, like 4th grade,
Right.
like you're little, I don't really understand what's going on, but I'm like, okay. And I just remember being sad.
Yeah.
And my 2 oldest sisters, again, the middle one's 2 years older. The oldest is 6 years older than me.
Right.
They have more of a concept of what's going on. And they're
Right.
like crying and like sad. And I'm like, hi,
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys
Your like
okay?
oldest sister would be what? Like a sophomore in high school?
Yeah, right around there.
Okay. Yeah.
And also my dad is her stepdad because my oldest sister and I
Gotcha.
half sisters. She has a different dad than I do.
Okay. Yeah. That does change things. Okay.
Yes. So, anyways, yes, moving into like elementary school, I went to my private Christian school in 5th grade was my new school. And again, things were all throughout 5th grade and like elementary school at my school, I remember being fairly normal. Some things would happen here
Yeah.
and there. Another memory I have of we had this really good like family couple friends growing up. And again, I think I was in, let's say maybe like 6th grade. My mom like came in and she was like, hey, like pack up your stuff. She's like, we're going to go stay at our friend's house for a little bit. And we were there for a couple days and like without my dad. And like it wasn't explained to me because I had mentioned
Did it feel
this
weird?
too.
Like, were you like, something's up? Or were you like, oh, this is fun?
100%. Always.
Gotcha.
Always. I was like, I don't know what's going on. But again, I mentioned this too. I think this is where it started with the like, you're young, you don't understand. I think this is where it started. And like, I started being
Gotcha.
told that. And so I was like, I guess I just don't understand.
Did your older sisters know what was going on and you didn't?
For the most part, yes.
Oh,
Yep, because it wasn't,
okay.
it honestly wasn't even, let's see here, until I figured out everything that happened in the divorce, it came from my oldest sister first, and then my mom told me everything. Because she was
Gotcha.
like keeping me in the loop, and I know I mentioned this before too. My oldest sister and I, we have a wonderful relationship, but again, with that 6-year age gap, it felt very motherly. Like she would take me everywhere with her, and like
Yeah.
people would ask, "Oh, is this your dog?" Like cute stuff like that. So I feel like she kind of always had that like, I'll fill you
Yeah.
in, like I'll keep you updated sort of deal, which was wonderful and I'm so appreciative of. Anyways, so like 5th, 6th grade, around there, normal, fine. Couple things happened here and there. But at this time, my relationship with my dad was it was just different. You know, I assumed it was normal. There wasn't much of a connection because, again, my dad was very like, I work 24/7, and my mom's very like, I stay home, I take care of the kids. And so we just did everything with my mom. I don't have a ton of memories with my dad other than like vacations or stuff like that. And like the memories I do have playing badminton, like fun stuff, but more
Yeah.
of like hard or sad or like everyday life. Always my mom. Always my mom. My dad would come home from work very frustrated all the time. Like he would
Really?
just sigh, eat dinner, watch TV, go to bed because he had to be up early the next day. And that's pretty much all my memories. And I remember feeling pretty misunderstood as a daughter too. I had a memory for Christmas. I was like so stoked. I don't remember, I had asked for a necklace or something cute or something small. And like I saw a little present under the tree and I was like, oh, that's it. And it was a pocket knife.
Oh.
Elementary school, a pocket knife. And I remember being like, oh, I love it. If you know me now, I love knives. I love pocket knives. I love that fun kind of stuff. But I was just very like, I'm a elementary school girl.
Yeah, you don't know me.
I was like, yeah, I feel like that's kind of when it started. Of like, oh,
Yeah.
I've talked about these things of like what I enjoy, these little things. And a pocket knife. Interesting.
Neat.
So I feel like that guy, yeah, pretty much.
Neato.
It's an avocado. Thanks. So I feel like that's when I noticed. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. Like, this relationship's different. It's not totally like I see my classmates and their dads and like other kind of stuff. And even like I played volleyball all through elementary school and high school, and like he would always come to games, but this is really sad to say out loud. I remember like not enjoying him coming to games because I was like, nobody knows him at my school. Nobody knows who he is. Nobody like I just remember just it kind of being like kind of awkward a lot.
Yeah.
I think that's where like my awkwardness started with relationship with men, of just kind of being like, I don't know how to act around men. I don't know how to talk to them. I don't know how to like just be normal, because in my mind I'm like, oh well, they just like don't care. And so that's kind of what I took with me. So again, seeing like other friends' parents and dads, and like my best friend, I would go over and like they were so wonderful and it was so beautiful like to see their relationship, but I was always like, you just like communicate so openly like that with your dad? I'm like, that's weird, when I'm like, no, that's normal. Anyways, so during this time, again, my parents ended up getting divorced. It was me going into sophomore year of high school. And so I had a Bible teacher who I absolutely love, because for up until I want to say like high school Bible, it was split up, girls and guys. And so she was wonderful. She was like a mentor to me. She knew everything going on. And then I guess back up a little bit, faith journey at this point for me, like I didn't like kids group. My sister and I had pretty bad separation anxiety from my mom, which I mean, kind of understandably. So we just would sit in like adult service, and we just always did that. But then again, elementary school, like we had our cute little Bible class, and we had like our like Bible books that we would go through. And I mentioned this before, I wish I had a moment when I remembered like accepting Jesus Christ as my savior, but I don't. I just remember going into 5th grade being like, yeah, I know this. I have a Bible at home. Anyways. And so like I consistently read my Bible, and my sisters would read it to me, and at school we would always read it. But again, like being little, I was just like reading my cute pictures of Noah's Ark and all this fun stuff. But again, getting into elementary school, it was wonderful. Like I said, I loved my Bible teacher. But when my parents did get divorced, I did not want to talk about it. I did not want to tell anybody at school, because I loved my school. However, some people were very judgmental. Again, being in a small private school, like I graduated with only 18 kids in my class, and most of them were there from 5th grade up until 12th grade. It was a K through 12th grade school. So I didn't want to talk about it. And also a lot of the kids were teachers' kids. And so I was like, I don't want to talk about this. Like, I know what you guys think. I've heard you talk about it in Bible classes. I've heard you talk about this. Like, how am I supposed to feel comfortable now? Being like, oh yeah, I'm going through a lot. My parents got divorced to like at a private Christian school. So that was rough. Only my best friends knew at the time, and my Bible teacher. And I don't know if she shared that with anybody. Who knows? But I remember I had a really rough week, and it was like during finals or something, and my teacher had come up to me and she was like, what? Like, are you okay? What is going on? And like I had shared, and she was like, ugh. She was like, I didn't know any of this was going on. Like, take an extra day to study, go home, do what you need to do. She was wonderful. So again, like I wish I would have opened up more, because I think it would have given teachers a bigger clue as to what was like going on, or my mindset. Because again, I've always been a good student. Like that was never hard for me. But again, so during this time, the divorce, it was like my whole world shifted upside down. Relationship was already strange with my dad, but now we went from like, of course, seeing him at home every day to nothing. We just were immediately with my mom. We moved, we bought a house, and we moved to a completely different area, and we like didn't see him for weeks. It was very strange. And then when we did start to see him, it was just so strange. Like I remember just being like so confused, and like it's just so sad. Like I would just watch my mom cry when we would go see him, and I remember feeling so bad. But again, I didn't know what happened between them, so I'm like, I
so
like
you didn't
miss
know
my
anything.
dad.
Did your sisters know?
At this point, my oldest sister did for sure.
Okay.
I don't remember what my middle sister knew, because she went with me to everything. It was always us two.
Gotcha.
And so, because again, I don't know if it affected too much, but again, him not being my oldest sister's real dad, I think after the divorce, it was kind of like for their relationship.
Oh, wow. Yeah, okay.
So yeah, it was just so strange, because we would go see him, but it would always be for like froyo, or like let's go play basketball at a park, or like it was just so strange. I remember like we would always just leave crying, and it would just make me so sad and just so confused. And I was like, okay, I don't really know what's going on, but that's fine. And then life just carried on. And at this point, again, it's middle school. Completely random, I ended up breaking my finger my pointer finger. And then I went in and they did x-rays, whatever. They found out I had a benign tumor in my pointer finger. I know, right?
What?
Yeah.
In your finger?
In my finger, my right pointer finger. I have a little scar. Anyway, so they had to go in, they had to wait for the break to heal, and they had to go in and get surgery to get it removed. It was a kind of tumor that like eats out your bones, and then your finger would have broke. I know, crazy. So,
What?
perfectly fine, not cancerous, nothing crazy
I
like that.
never knew that about you.
Yes,
That
I'm
is
sorry.
the craziest
I have it in my
thing.
scar.
You're apologizing for not telling me about your cancerous, potentially
It was
cancerous
not
finger.
cancer.
That's so crazy.
But yes, so anyways, kind of blends in here real quick. So I end up going to the doctor's hospital, blah, blah, blah. I'm getting surgery for it. And this made me have to sit out in volleyball for a whole season. Because again, sports meant so much to me. I did club volleyball and regular volleyball from literally elementary on. And then all of a sudden I hit middle school and I was like, oh no. Like I can't do the one thing I love. And then now like home life's rocky.
Yeah.
So then I think this is when...
You said this is middle school?
This is middle school now.
Okay, so before divorce.
No, this is divorce. Like this is divorce happened.
Oh, okay.
Fingers healing.
I thought that was sophomore year of high school.
Oh dear, am I mixing up my words?
Okay.
Freshman year is when the parents got divorced.
Fully got divorced.
Fully
Freshman.
divorced. Like
'Kay.
moved going into freshman year.
Gotcha.
Parents are fully divorced.
So
We're in
end
a
of
different
middle
house.
school
End
is
of
like
middle school is when
the
all this is
tumultuous.
happening.
Okay, gotcha.
And so that season is when I break my finger, find out all this stuff. And so
Gotcha.
I can't play that season.
Oh,
Yes.
man, so you had nothing.
Nothing. And so again, like it was where I saw all my friends. It was wonderful. It was a great outlet for me. And then all of a sudden that was taken away. So as really sweet of them, they made me the team manager. And so I still like went to every game and like I helped the coaches like just prep and like so it was super fun. But I think this is when it kind of started slipping into the like depression bit of my life. Because at this point I was just like, I don't really know what's going on between my parents. I don't see my dad anymore. I don't want to see my dad anymore.
Yeah.
The thing I love, I no longer can do and I'm no longer doing anymore. And so I just kind of like stopped doing everything I love and everything I know. And I kind of just fully become a hermit. I'm in my room 24/7. And like, I'm just like either listening to music or reading, but it's like, I'm just like home sad. And again, like being told and like you're young, you don't really understand. I like took it so serious looking back at it now. And I just really didn't talk. I didn't want to share my opinion. I didn't feel like it was heard. I didn't really feel like it was valued at all. So I was fine being quiet and just sitting like do. And so I think a full year goes by of this. Of parents are officially divorced. I'm just like not the same as I was. And during this time, I meet my best friend then. And she was a gift from God. And I wholeheartedly believe that. And like looking back on our relationship, I don't know how I got through any life or I would have without her. And so I meet her. She's a grade above me. And we had known each other, but we were just never close. I don't remember the instance that happened. I don't know if it was like, oh, I remember. So in middle school, in middle school is when I like knew her because the grade above me, we would do like some classes together. And so anyways, I knew her from like history and like, again, small school. And I'm like, oh, she's just in the grade above me. But we didn't become close till my sophomore year. So her junior year around there, we like just hit it off. And this is when, so she has her permit and she's like getting her license. And I know we talked about this a little bit, but like the whole driving, the whole license, that whole freedom changed my life in the best way possible. So she comes from a very communicative family, a very like, say it how you feel, like point blank. And so she basically was like, let me teach you how we communicate.
Yeah.
This is good. This is healthy. So I remember countless of nights of like me just sobbing with her and her like just listening, being so kind. And her mom and her parents became like second parents to me. And so we would just be over there 24/7 and she would just ask me how I'm doing, talk with me, pray with me. And it was so beautiful to see. And so she just was so wonderful. And she really got me into like, hey, let's find what you like. Like, you like going to fun coffee shops? I like going to fun coffee shops. And so we just went everywhere. And one of my favorite memories, if we were ever having a hard night, because she had some like pretty rough like family and stuff happen and like history in her life. So we just really bonded over that. But again, like the licenses in driving changed our life because after she officially had her license, we just went everywhere. She lived like again, at the time, I'm growing up in Portland, and so there was a Dutch Bros by the airport that was open 24/7.
Yeah.
So if we were ever like having a rough night, we would just blast worship music, or this is so funny, or Post Malone. We would blast Post Malone, and we would go get Dutch Bros at 2 a.m.
I love that.
And we would just like sit
Yeah.
and just like talk and pray. And like it was so neat because I think she was one of my first friends who I saw like study the Bible. And it was so beautiful to see because like we did Bible studies together. We went to the same church together at this point. We're going to youth group together. And so again, she's like taking me to our church. And so I'm now like attending this church regularly in our area. And like even like my mom's going there, my sisters are going there.
Yeah.
So I'm attending this church regularly. And she, at this time, my mom like runs into somebody who she used to know in high school.
Yeah.
And so they start dating. And so it was really strange because this was like first relationship, like after my dad.
Yeah.
And at this point with my dad and my relationship with him, it's so on and off. I will occasionally see him, I want to say probably every couple months, and like we'll go out to dinner and catch up. Or it's like, it's Christmas, let's get dinner. Like just very awkward. Because again, it's like I'm figuring out life, like high school now, like figuring out friendships.
So
I'm allowed to be
too.
angry at like what's going on.
Yeah.
And so this is when I'm like finding out stuff that had happened. I find out that
Gotcha.
there's like infidelity in my parents' relationship and like so much more that I'm not going to get into for the privacy of my mom and everything. But I just like can't imagine at all.
Yeah.
And so it's just so sad to hear. And so at this point, I'm like angry for my mom, even though it had happened now. What I'd say we're probably at like sophomore year now, and like going into junior year, even though it's like a year and a half, almost maybe 2 years, I like am just now finding stuff out, and I'm like getting upset for my mom. And I'm like, I don't want to be around this man.
Yeah.
I don't want to be around this guy. Like it was.
How'd you find out?
So strange. She told me. And
Your
my
mom
sister
did?
talked to me, because we had hit a point where we were like, what happened? Like, I want to know. I don't want to just sit here and be like, oh, I guess I don't see my dad. Like, I want to know. And you know what? I think I am happy at how I found out and when I found out. I think it probably would have been harder. I would have been like just maybe a little too young to really be like, oh, well, like, I think I would have been like, oh, bummer, that stinks. Anyways, I'm going to go hang out with dad. Like, I know it puts you kind of in an awkward position of like, well, that's still my dad. And my mom wanted to respect that.
Yeah.
But also I'm like, you can separate the fact that like, someone just shouldn't do this, period. And let alone to like the person you love, like who raised me, So anyways, besides the point. So we're mumble jumbled kind of right now. So I'm like, freedom, wonderful, license, good stuff. Go into this church. My mom meets this one gentleman. And so they hit it off and start dating.
Gotcha.
And at first, it was perfectly fine. Like, it was weird, of course. But my sisters and I, like, we're close. And we're like, this is so strange. But, like, yay, we want my mom to be happy.
Yeah.
Like, they met at church. Good place to meet. And so then we're like, we'll leave that where it is for now. Perfectly normal. Perfectly fine. And so, again, my best friend at the time, we do everything together all the time. We go on, like, trips to Bend, we go with her family, she comes with our family, like hiking, backpacking, and we are like studying and in the Word together. And so she was like, hey, I know technically you're not in my age group for like the church youth group because it splits off into groups after, but she's like, but just come with me. And I was like, okay. So like we went up to our leader and I was like, hey, like I'm technically a year younger, but like she's my bestie and kind of the only people I really know. Like, are you? And she's like, oh, I don't care, girl. Like, come. So then I started attending regularly with her, and I met 2 more gals who ended up being really close friends with me.
Yeah.
And she was like, you know what? Like, I host a Bible study like Friday nights and sometimes Saturday nights. I would love to have you come. And so me and my best friend, and then the 2 other girls we ended up knowing, just start attending regularly.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember what the commitment was. I don't know if it was basketball or something, but my best friend couldn't come anymore. So I just started going. And it was wonderful. This girl becomes my mentor. She is so cool. She's so like artsy. Yeah. She loves the Lord. Her and her husband have such a cool story. She at this time is in her early 30s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, again, I'm like sophomore now.
Yeah.
Sophomore, junior
15,
year around
14.
there. Mm-hmm. And she's like early 30s.
That's
And
great.
so, or late 20s, early 30s. And so she's wonderful. She's so cool. Her husband has such a unique story, and it was beautiful because I want to point out little bits and pieces of like how the Lord showed up.
Yeah.
Is like he was probably one of the first gentlemen that the Lord placed in my life. After that, I was like, oh, so this is a good guy. Like, he was so beautiful to see their relationship. The second one I've talked about a little bit is my oldest sister and her husband.
Yes.
They're wonderful. He like is just a wonderful man, and he was so good for me to like witness and watch. And they made a point too of like, again, this is a little bit later on when they eventually got married, like they would argue in front of me because they're like, this is healthy for you to see. Like this is a normal like conversation and we're just like talking. And I'm like, thank you for letting me witness this. Because now like if I ever have those or see that, I'm not like, like I never witnessed this. This is weird or whatever. So anyways, I'm consistently in this Bible study. And now we're in junior year, consistently in this Bible study. It's wonderful. Like I'm taking my faith very serious, attending church by myself, going to Bible studies by myself, and like school, my class, perfectly fine. I'm still like a little awkward here and there of the like, I like wasn't one to have crushes really, or like be like, guys in high school. I feel like, I mean, you can kind of understand why I'm like, ew, personally. And so again, still kind of awkward, kind of strange, because I'm like, I just don't really know how to interact with dudes, because it just, I never have. And anyways, but like this Bible study is helping. It's wonderful. She knows everything about my family.
Yeah.
And then things get a little bit more rocky with this relationship that my mom is in. He turns out to be a hardcore narcissist. Oh. Awful man. And they began a very on-again, off-again relationship.
Yeah.
And he would come and live at the house for periods of time and stay with us. And then he would be gone. And we'd be like, oh, finally, thank goodness. None of us...
Were you, like, noticing the behavior as well? Like, was he treating you poorly as well?
Not poorly. He was the very overly nice, like, I'm so wonderful. Everybody loves me. I have so much knowledge. You're going to want to hear this from me.
Gotcha.
And immediately, like, my little discernment radar was like, mm-mm. And same with my middle sister and same with my older sister. None of us liked him. And I feel so bad saying that, but we just knew and could tell something was off. And, like, he always talked about how wonderful, like, this Bible study was that he was a part of. And then, like, come to find out, like, it wasn't even, like, a Bible study. It was just, like, a men's group where they would just, like, sit and watch TV. Like, it wasn't an actual...
Just guys hanging out.
Yeah, but he would be like, no, I have Bible study I have to go to. Because, again, there was a popular show filmed in Oregon. And
Portlandia?
No, I wish. That would have been so funny. But...
Is it Always Sunny?
Gold Rush.
Oh, okay.
Somehow, someone connected on that show... knew him, and they would go to, like, they were close friends. Again, I don't know the people. Anyways, a Bible study that was held was not an actual Bible study.
Gotcha.
And so my mom's like, is this wonderful Christian man? And we're like, we are not seeing any fruits from this man, and things are not adding up. Because again, I've like hit the point in my Bible studies, in my relationship with the Lord now, where I'm looking for things. I am seeing things, and I'm like, I'm understanding relationships. I'm understanding, oh no, if someone truly is a believer, like you'll see the fruits in their life.
And what do we mean by fruits?
Oh,
we should specify that, because we have a lot of people that don't know what that stuff is.
That's a great point. When I'm like meaning fruits of the Spirit, I mean like if you have a genuine, deep relationship with the Lord, he will slowly like start to prune at your life, and you'll start to become more like him, and by that produce fruits. And fruits are like love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness. Thank you.
Self-control.
And self-control. Yep. Yes. And so those are the fruit of the Spirit. And so you'll slowly.
So we don't mean like physical things, like not like wealth or status or like fruits.
Yeah,
how
it's very
we would
much
kind
so
of see them.
Inward.
Yeah.
Thing.
Okay. Like attitudes.
Attitudes, and you can just like see it in a person's life where you're like, there's just something about you, and like that's the Lord, and you just know, and like the Holy Spirit, you can just tell when it like works and moves in people, and unfortunately, we just like didn't get any of that from this gentleman, and it was so hard because again, I'm coming from like I'm upset at my dad, I'm angry, to now seeing another man start to treat my mom not good at all. Yeah. And so maybe a little too blunt, but I'm voicing all of these opinions to her. And I'm telling her, I do not like this man. I do not feel comfortable around him. And so he came from a military background. And again, I'm like very heavily getting into fitness. Fitness is the other thing, and like working out that changed my life so much for the better. And how like, it's so crazy to see how the Lord met me through health and fitness, of like doing something hard is so good for you. And I think in a weird way it's like a beautiful analogy for me to like knowing like, no, it's okay to have like opinions and emotions, and to like approach the hard. It's good for you. For me. So anyways, I'm like having such strong conversations, and he like knows I love fitness, and he knows I'm working out more, and he's like, oh, that's wonderful, and like very like kind.
Yeah.
But then he like starts awkwardly like making comments. Have you lost weight? You look like you're losing weight. And like just like making comments about my body. And I'm like, can you please stop? And I'm telling him this. I'm like, I don't like it when you're looking more muscular. Like, I'm like, no, thank you. I would rather not have you analyze me. And so, like, I've voiced that multiple times. So I'm like, I don't feel comfortable around this gentleman. I don't want to be home. This is junior year.
So, like, 16?
Yeah. Yeah. And so I'm, like, voicing these concerns and these things. Oh, boy. Yep. So I'm voicing these concerns and these things. And so at the time, it's just a tricky spot in like my relationship with my mom, because like she's excited and happy to be in a relationship, but I am not, because I'm like, I don't like this guy. I don't want him around. So my mentor knows, she's wonderful. She's praying for me. My best friends know, and just like helping me how to navigate, because it's like, again, like I don't have a say, which is fine, but like I can just voice my opinions and concerns. And unfortunately, each time I did, they were met with the, you don't understand. You've never been divorced. You don't understand. And so, like, nothing would change. And so they end up getting married. And then they end up getting it annulled.
Okay. How long were they together before they got married? Off and on, but like total start.
Off and on, total with everything. I think they were like 3 or 4 years.
Oh.
Total.
Wow.
Total.
Okay.
Because that was...
So you're like graduated at this point.
Oh, yeah. I'm graduated and done when stuff's still finishing up with him.
Okay.
And like, so, yeah.
And so then how long were they together married before they got it annulled?
Oh, maybe a couple months. If that, I don't think. But so the point we're in, I remember specifically, it's going to be my 16th birthday. And this is when they are married.
Right.
At this point. And, or like they're engaged at this point. And so my mom's like, let's buy a house, let's move. And so we had planned this big road trip for my birthday down to Salt Lake City. There was a store that is beautiful, and it's like you get to make your own jewelry. It's a gem studio now, which they're all around, which is funny to me. And we planned this beautiful road trip. And then they end up canceling on it last minute on me, because they're like, we're actually going to move on your birthday. Oh. And so I remember being super disappointed about that, because, again, this is after voicing the concerns of, like, I don't feel comfortable around this gentleman, whatever. Anyways, they end up buying a house, and so they get married. And so we're in this house, and then they get annulled. And so he's out, and he's gone. And so we're kind of like we can breathe.
Yeah.
Like, I'm home. I'm around my family. This is wonderful. My oldest sister is, like, married at this time. My middle sister, like, she's dating a gentleman. And so I'm like, this is nice. Like, I can be home. I can enjoy time with my family because I can feel comfortable here.
Yeah.
And so in a weird way.
From chaos.
Yeah. And again, like, I am not talking to my dad again at this point. So I feel like that struggle's off and on. But my best friend is wonderful. And we're, like, talking about it and working through it. But now it has shifted from, again, of like, the people that I know are supposed to love me and I know are supposed to take care of me, it doesn't feel like they are. And that's a really weird shift to hit when you're like in your 15, 16, 17 age, because you're like, I'm still young. Like, I'm a kid, I'm a teenager, but also like I'm a teenager. So maybe I don't need it as much as I thought I did.
Yeah.
And so on and off, I am really struggling here in this point in my life to like see God as a father, because I'm like, if my father is how he was, why on earth would I want God to be my father like that?
There's no example of like what a perfect father looks like. And so when you imagine God as a father, you're like, ew.
No, that's exactly. And I'm like trying and I'm like reading and like I understand the love the Lord has for us, but it's just not clicking or adding up in my head, because again, it's like I didn't see it. I didn't feel it. Like, it's weird for me to like just read it. And so I think that was like probably the biggest hiccup for me in my faith, where like I knew and I trusted and I believed, but it's like I could only take that so far before I was like, nah, I don't know. And like, it just feels weird to me. Then I'd be like, anyways, well, let's go back to a gospel or like whatever and like try and like see the heart of Jesus. And so I'm like really working through this at this point. And then now like with this past gentleman that my mom was with, it's just not helping. I'm still again of just like, well, men suck, period. But I'm like, but I'm seeing like my mentor's husband's wonderful.
Yeah.
Like, my oldest sister's husband's wonderful. So I'm like, it's not adding up. And so I'm like, obviously the wheels are turning. I'm hitting this point where I'm like, I just don't get it. I don't understand.
Yeah.
And so again, time goes on, life moves on, and things start getting strange at home again. And we're like, what is going on? Like, my sisters and I are like, is mom acting strange? Come to find out, she was seeing the gentleman again, and they get back together.
The ex, the divorce.
Yes, the divorce.
Not your dad.
Not my dad, the one in between.
The narcissistic.
The narcissistic gentleman.
Seeing him again. Okay. And hiding it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we didn't find out till probably a little bit later when she would finally be like, hey, like, I'm going to see blah, blah, blah. Like, we're kind of talking again. We have been for X, Y, and Z amount of time. And me and my sister, we would just immediately, we just knew. We immediately knew. And at this time, my oldest sister's not living with us anymore. She's married. She's somewhere else. And so we could just tell. We just knew, just based off of my mom's behavior and how often she was around. But it's just sad because he would just kind of bring it out of her, of like the secrecy again, of like, I don't know if it was like part of the narcissistic behavior.
Yeah.
But it's just,
it's shame.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shame around like going back to the people that like you know are not good for you. That's sucky.
And
That's
so again,
sucky.
it's like we felt like my sister and I were at such a wonderful point of like, safety, like home. And then it just gets taken away again because it's just right back to normal. He's spending the night on the couch all the time. Like, he's just over 24/7. And there it goes again. I'm just not home.
Yeah.
I don't want to be home. I don't want to be around it.
How old is your sister at this point?
She's 2 years older than me. So if I'm like, so she's probably like 18 during all of this. And then going into her 20s. And because, so I hit junior year. And again, like, I've got my own license.
Wait, they got divorced when you were like an adult though, right? When you were like 20 or 19?
They're divorced? No, when I was still in high school.
Oh, okay. So when did they get?
Because they bought the house. They bought the house when I was 16.
16.
And then that's when they got married shortly after. And then they got annulled.
Okay.
And then now at this point, I'm 17. Right?
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm in junior year now.
Okay.
And so I don't remember how many months they were like, called it off. And then she like started seeing him again. I don't remember the in between.
So your sister's like 19, 20.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yep, thank you.
I'm trying to like piece together
the
ages.
pieces.
Like, that stuff's important, you know? Like if she's like technically a full adult and like she's not there and you're stuck being the last one and stuff like that. That's hard.
And so again, like she at this point in her life is like in a very serious relationship.
Your sister? Okay.
And I know her boyfriend at the time is about to propose to her. And so during this time, my wonderful mentor, she and her husband had did YWAM, which is the Youth with a Mission, the discipleship training school. And so because of COVID, they couldn't do at the end of every discipleship training school, they send you off on like an extended mission. I think it's a couple weeks or a couple months. They couldn't do theirs. And so she had come up to us and was like, hey, I would love to plan a mission trip with our little Bible study. And she was like, I think it would be wonderful for you to join. And she's like, our mission trip through YWAM DTS was supposed to be to Ukraine. So she was like, I would love to plan like a 2 to 3 week trip to go and do what we were supposed to do.
So cool.
Like go home, talk with your parents. I'm going to get in contact with the bases and the people we know. And so we're like, okay, so the next Bible study. And she was like, there we go. They would love to have us. They would love to like bring, like they said we could bring 4 girls because then it was her and her husband. And so it ended up being me, my best friend, the other girl I ended up getting so close with, and then another girl who I wasn't as close with, but it was wonderful bonding. Whatever. We go to my mom, and I tell her everything. And again, she's like so understanding and a wonderful person in that way. Yeah. And so I like told her about it, and she was like, absolutely, we'll find a way to make it work. And so, amazing. Wonderful. I got to go. A little bit of backstory that I forgot to mention. Also, mind you, the like peak, I don't want to leave my room, or I'm like not home. This is COVID.
Oh.
Yes. So that aids to a lot of it.
Wait, what year did you graduate?
I graduated in 2022. So my high school years are COVID, 2020. I remember the like, oh, spring break got extended, weird. And then it was just nothing.
You never came back.
And I never came back, basically. And
ew, I'm so old. That is so crazy. 2022? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Cue the dinosaur music.
Anyways, so that's your iPad kid. Me and my YouTube.
6, 7. All right, anyways, continue.
But yes, so that's also a little bit of backstory of like my mindset where I'm at. Can't do anything at all. So it's still COVID at the time this mission trip.
This is like what, 2021 because your junior year, right? Okay.
This is 2021, and so I am going to turn 17 this year.
Gotcha.
And so, anyways, 2021, the mission trip, it's happening. I'm so stoked. I'm so excited. We're going over summer, and we're going to be there for 3 weeks. And we're flying to Ternopil, and then we're taking, it was like, how many hours was it? 5 hour. So we flew 16 hours to Ternopil. First we went to Turkey, then Ternopil, and then we drove another like 5 hours to a different town on a bus.
Oh my gosh.
And I was racking my brain earlier trying to remember the name of the gentleman who helped us around, and his name was Senya. And he was the most wonderful man who was ahead of the base in Ukraine, and he taught himself English. And he like sought out people from different churches in different parts of the world and was like, please come, like mission, start a church with me here.
Yeah.
And he was the most welcoming gentleman, and it was so cool. And so again, at this time, I'm getting more and more tastes of like what life looks like outside of my bubble and outside of my home. Yeah. And I think this is where the Lord is like really working and like turning wheels in my brain of like, oh, like my little home bubble, like that's not it. Like that's not the entire world. And so this mission trip changed my life in the best and most amazing way possible. So throughout the week, we would like go serve at a small church that was like a couple hours away. So we would do a long car ride on Thursdays to go over there. And then my best friend and I, they asked us to speak and like share our testimonies. And so like I shared a ton, and it was so cool. It was for young adults that we did, but they're like, it was like it was like high school, middle school. And then we would host game nights after and just like connect and have fun. And it was so awesome because everybody just was like, you're clearly not from here. Like, tell us your life. Let's talk about you. And then the biggest thing we did is we helped in an orphanage. And I like tear up every time thinking about it. But I think that experience of like showing up and going to that orphanage, I don't know why, but just clicked the picture of like God as a father for me, because like these kids are here who like their parents don't have money, they have to be here, or like they just don't have family, period, and they're so loved and they're so taken care of. And the fact that like I even get to be a part of that was beautiful. And so again, like the Lord met me in such a wonderful way there. And ever since that mission trip, I was like, I get it now. I was like, it's not about my examples here on earth. It's like about the example God sets for us. And like, that's what I get to experience this perfect love. I don't just have to read about it. I get to experience it. And like, even unfortunately, like the men I do have in my life, bummer, like it doesn't compare. And like, ever since that, it just didn't matter to me as much anymore. And so it was wonderful. And I remember there was this little girl who the people at the orphanage were telling us she doesn't like anybody. She doesn't like to play. She sits in the corner all by herself. And by the end of the 3 weeks, she was like running and jumping on me and playing with me, and she followed me around everywhere, and it was so cute. And it just like,
what a beautiful picture of God's love, man. Like,
I know.
I'm gonna cry thinking about this, but I was just talking with my daughter about how like she was saying that she can't hear God. And I told her, I was like, well, I've got Jesus, and you have Jesus in your heart, and Jesus can talk through us. He can put things on our heart to like do or say to other people. And so like sometimes you can hear Jesus through what I tell you or what the Bible says. And I told her, I was like, I see so much Jesus in you, like in the way that you like love your baby brother. Aww. And so the fact that like God was a good father to the orphans through you being his hands and feet was like, that's beautiful. Just so beautiful to think about.
And I loved going and seeing them. And then something else that was like also beautifully redeeming, we went to a camp that Senya, the leader who had helped a ton with, it was camp for a gentleman trying to get out of addiction. And it was a farm fully ran by like, I think it was a group of 10 men who were all like getting out of addiction of any kind. And like we went and they like they caught us our dinner. It was fish, and they like prepared it for us and just sat down and like told us their life stories. And then like we got to go like help with their goats and like on the farm. And I love goats, and I'm over here like picking each one up, like holding them, whatever. But like that was also just beautiful to see of like, even though somebody, like you can be coming from anything and still pursue and love the Lord. And that was also such a beautiful picture just to see what like a repentant heart looks like.
Yeah.
And so that was wonderful. This mission trip was one of the best things that ever happened. And so 2 of the people who were already at the base, they helped with a YWAM in Montana.
Yeah.
And so I got connected with them. And so I will touch base on that a little bit more because that's when I talked about in our first episode about potentially going to like DTS and YWAM and Montana and all that fun stuff. But so anyways, I came home from that trip with just a renewed and changed view on life, and my 2 best friends at the time. So I have my best friend who went on the trip with me and I'm doing everything. And then I have my 2 best friends who I, again, from 5th grade all the way up until junior year at this point. Yeah. We are like besties. They're like, you are a completely different person in the best way possible. Yeah. Like we have never seen your faith so strong at all. And like everybody in my life was like, how are you not worse from your life story? Like, how are you just like the way that you are? And I was like, seriously, all the Lord? Like, and like the people he's put in my life. And so at this point in my life, again, I am like not talking to my dad. The crazy things that happen on that trip is we land and I like am like trying to text my mom and she's not responding. And like, I like text my sister and she is like, there's something I need to tell you that you should probably know. And my mom and that man, that gentleman.
Oldest sister?
Middle sister.
Middle sister.
My mom and that gentleman flew to Vegas and got remarried while I was on the mission trip and didn't tell me.
Oh, no.
So that wrecked probably a day or 2 of the trip. And of course, I told my mentor and everybody knew. But it like is still crazy to see like
oh boy,
how the Lord still like worked through me and like that whole trip. Yeah. And again, like at this point, I like fully see myself as like, oh, I'm an adult. Like it's like it's okay. Like again, like I said, what the Lord taught me, like this home bubble is not my life. Yeah. And that's okay. And like I felt so good about that. But again, the like in between of returning to it was rough because I knew things would be different. I like had at this point was like, my mother is an adult. Yeah. And that's wonderful. Like I don't have to come to her because she knows my thoughts. She knows my opinions. And like, I'm not going to voice them again and again. And so that's just the point that I hit. And then again, shortly after, again, I wish I remembered the specific times, but it was probably longer than the time previous. They ended up getting a divorce again.
Gotcha. He moved in and everything. Okay.
And that one was the final one. Okay. And they were like maybe on and off again a couple times after that. But this is when my mom had started to find out, like she saw messages from other girls on his phone. Oh, she's like hearing from people that know him. I know. She's hearing from people who know him that like he's not a good guy. Nobody like stay clear. And she's like, I didn't know any of this.
This is the craziest thing. But like I feel like this could save somebody's life. I had a friend who's like been single for forever. And I love her. She's so wonderful. Like she does not deserve to be single, but like slim pickings. And I remember she told me one time, she was like, I like know at this point in my life, if I date anybody, he's going to have baggage. And some of it might be that he's like been divorced. Just going to have something that happened in his life that like is not where I'm at in my life. And if he's divorced, I want to just sit down and say like, okay, well then let me call your ex. Let me call your ex.
Story should
even
add
if
up.
She hates you, even if you hate her, I want to make sure the stories line up. And like, bro, the amount of women that would save.
Honestly.
Because so many guys are like, my ex is crazy.
And like blame it on it. And I'm sure that's what he told. Yeah. Oh, actually, I know for a fact that is because again, him and his ex, no contact.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, like, I have no contact with my ex, but, like, my ex full-on admitted everything to my sister. Yeah. Point blank.
That's different, yeah.
And so, like, if they need record, like, they can ask her, or, like, I mean, they can ask him. I just think he's going to, like, tout a bunch of lies, but, like. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man.
That's really good advice.
Yeah. I know.
That is.
That would have saved so many things, dude. So many people. Yeah. So, oh, man.
Yeah.
What happens after that? So, officially divorced, maybe on and off again at this point, but like you just do not care. You're not in this.
Yeah, I just kind of hit the point, like you said, I just am like, oh, well.
And you're like 17.
Yes, I'm
18?
17 at this point. I
17.
have turned 17 at this point. And so at this point,
Senior?
yes.
Okay.
Yep, officially senior year. And
Class of 2022. Oh, I'm going to think about that all night tonight.
yeah,
I'm going to be
so
like,
sorry.
I'm going to be like, what happened to me?
What happened to you, man?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I like still think it's so crazy that you're like 4 years younger than me. It's like not that big of a gap, but it like is still like, no.
There's like little things you're like, no.
No, you're not.
No.
I know 20, 21, 22-year-olds. They're not like you.
And you're like, no.
They're not like you.
Dude, welcome to my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyways, but again, that's also the reaction I'm getting from every single person I meet.
Yeah.
And they're like, why are you so mature for your age?
I've been basically emancipated since I was 16
I was
years
like, you want to talk about it? I will fill you in.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyways, so at this point, again, mission trip over, like,
Yep.
they're back together, they're married, I am senior year of high school, all that fun stuff. And so at the end of this mission trip, like I said, my two best friends are a year older than me. So they're like graduated and done.
hanging out.
And so I, after this trip, get so close with obviously my best friend, but one other girl, the two other girls, but mainly one. And we like hit it off. And so we were so fascinated by like the Romanian culture and Ukrainian culture of like churches and like more Eastern European Pentecostal churches. So we were like, let's church hop. Like, let's just go try a bunch of churches in the area and like have fun and just like look and watch other cultures. And so we were like, let's do it. And so we like tried a couple different churches in our area, and it was just so fun because we just like started a Bible study together.
Yeah.
We just like would read and like, and anyway, she like ended up connecting with a gentleman who was, I don't know if he was on staff, but he was a pretty big volunteer at one of the like bigger Romanian churches in our area. And like he invited us to one of their church conferences. And so I don't know if you know about like Eastern European church conferences. So they are pretty large. And so normally like a side of like a section of the US, they will all come to one church from different states and have big conferences together.
Fun.
And it's like a way for like the main church to connect. And so it's so beautiful. And we went to one and it was so cool because they had like, it was in Romanian or Ukrainian, and then we had a translator, but it was so beautiful to like sit apart in the worship and to like see everybody. And this was so fun too, because again, like, going to Ukraine, it's a very, very modest country, so you have to wear like dresses and skirts, and like that's all we wore. But it was like fun and different from, you know, like a non-denominational church, which is more casual. So when we would go to the churches, we would like get to dress up and like experience it. It was really neat. And so the one other big thing that had happened as soon as we got back, my sister got engaged. Again, I know I missed.
Yeah, middle sister. Got it.
Middle sister is engaged and planning a wedding at this point.
It's exciting.
Mm-hmm. And so that is going on, and they end up getting married a couple months later. Beautiful wedding, just like.
Did you like him? Like at this point? Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, good guy.
Yeah.
Happy for her.
Yeah.
All the things.
I was very excited for her. He's a goofball. And I'm perfectly fine saying that. But again, I was like very, very happy for her and very excited for her. I was really, really sad I couldn't be there, like for the engagement, but I was so happy for her. And like, again.
And you were there for the wedding though?
Yes, of course. I was there for the wedding. And again, also peak COVID. So they had the most adorable like backyard wedding. Cute. And they made it all cute. And anyways, so multiple life things happening and different things happening. And we're like church hopping. I feel like, you know, like fully my adult life, fun stuff. And so we go to a church in the area that like is known for being like a pretty wonderful church. We know the head pastor's like super conservative, and we're like, cool, let's try out their young adults. Like we're looking for a young adults ministry to go to.
Conservative biblically or conservative politically? Looking
back on it now, first conservative politically, but they were still a pretty like very biblically sound church.
Gotcha.
But again, being in Portland, Oregon, like they pride themselves on being
conservative for Portland is very, very different than like conservative for a lot of other areas.
Exactly. So keep that in mind.
I always like to say that like when I moved to Idaho, I was a staunch Republican in Washington, but I'm like like middle wing Democrat in
Idaho
Like
compared
people
to
are
some
so
of the-
extreme in different areas.
Totally.
So like, yeah.
So again, for Oregon, you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
You're just voicing your opinions right on stage here. But again, it's like, again, most like Christian Portlanders and people in the area are like, this is wonderful, finally.
Yeah.
So anyways, we tried the young adults, and my good friend and I go, not best friend, bestie, because something wonderful happens in her life, which I will touch base on after. And so again, like the two other gals in the mission trip, we're like going to this young adults pretty consistently, and she ends up running into a gentleman who had graduated 5 or 4 years prior than her, and was like, oh my gosh, like I know you guys. And so then we just like blend into their friend group and like are just doing pretty much everything together. We're going to the young adults, we're going to like other like Wednesday night church like with them.
So they're like, they are his group or whatever is how old?
So I am 17 at this point.
Right.
I'm 3 months away from turning 18.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so he's 21, 22. He
Okay.
had just turned 22. Because remember, he was he was older than me, but only only 4 years older
Okay.
than.
And so that whole friend group was like that same
That
age,
same
or
age.
was it
There
like
was-
blended down?
It was a little bit of blended.
Okay. I feel like
the,
small
like,
schools do that pretty
yeah.
often,
And
where
then
like
again,
there's
too-
just not a lot of people in their class, and so it's like
they're
it
like,
just kind of is like a
sure,
gradual.
like I know your friends, I know your sisters.
Yeah.
Like let's
Normally
just all
I'd
hang
bully
out.
you, but like I guess like I don't have anybody else, so
Thanks. Yeah, this friendship.
yeah, no,
Our age gap.
yeah.
But anyways, so I think like one of his other really good friends at the time was 21, and then another one of our really good friends was 22, and then another one was 19. Like
yeah,
and
just
so
that age range
yeah.
of like very young adult. I feel like I group like 18 to 22-year-olds as like the in-betweener age, because like I feel like after 22 it's just like such a different life.
Yeah,
but
that's
like
fair.
before 22 it's like kind of this
You
weird
kind
like
of are
I don't
living
know
the
who
like
I am.
in between
I'm
young adult.
figuring out who I
like,
am. I don't know if I'm going to college. I don't know if I'm working. I'm still like a student, but like maybe I'm not. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
So again, they're like, yeah. So that
Perfect
age
group
range.
to like
We had so
yeah.
much fun. And again,
Find
this
your
is
faith
where
in.
the Lord is so cool, because again, he like is putting in my life like wonderful men for
Yeah.
me just to like be around and to like see and to be like treated really well by.
Yeah.
Like this gentleman was like, he was such a gentleman at that
Yeah.
period. And it was so wonderful to be around, because he like was a very conservative man, like very nice, very kind, and
Yeah.
was just like, anyways, just a wonderful example again of like men. And so I was like, oh, well, thank you, Lord. And then so at this time, my best friend, who went on the mission trip but is not doing this church hopping stuff with me, gets engaged.
Oh my gosh, 19.
She gets engaged at 19.
Girl.
And so I am stoked for her.
Yeah.
This man and her are wonderful together, and they fit so incredibly well. So that's
Yeah.
what's going on in her life. They're like engagement life. She's in a serious relationship. And so
Yeah.
they're kind of starting their own little
Yeah.
life. So that's, anyways. So we end up going to a Wednesday night group, and like we all like shuffle in the pew, and I'm like, oh, there's a guy here that I don't normally recognize. And I like scoot in, and spoiler, it's my now husband at the time. And you know what's funny too? I remember I was wearing Vans, and I remember scooting in, and I like look over, and I was like, I see another set of Vans, and I was like,
Hey, Van
who
Gang.
is that over there? And I was like, again, just like, we're like, oh, like, I don't know you. And then I was like, oh my gosh, is this like blah, blah, blah? I was like, I have one memory of him, like from like in high school, because again, he's like 4.5, almost 5 years older than me. And so I was like, oh, strange, but like didn't think anything
Yeah.
of it. And then we all like as a big group go out to dinner, and he sits kind of like adjacent to me, and we just like laugh the whole entire time, have so much fun, like the big group. And I remember like leaving being like, I don't know how, but I was like, that man is going to be a very important part of my life.
Yeah.
And like, anyways, I'll get into that a little bit more. But so at this time, I am communicating with the YWAM base in Montana, and I'm signed up and set to do their endurance DTS, which is the
Right.
endurance is like the outdoorsy version
Yes.
of their normal DTS. And so it's 6 months long, and I am like, again, out of like almost graduated high school. I'm like
Yeah.
3 months away at this point, 2 months away from turning 18.
Yeah.
And then like, anyway, so that's just kind of time frame we're looking at. And so like over, like after the mission trip, like I go and we like tour the base in Montana.
Yeah.
I'm signed up. I'm very excited. And like, I'm just finishing off school like normal. and just whatever, like hanging out with our friend group, churches, Bible studies.
Yeah.
And then me and that gentleman, who is now my husband, Kyle, we like just like hit it off. And again, our friend group just does everything together. And so the gal that I was going to that new young adults with, and the gentleman who like they first met, and he's like, come join or whatever, blah, blah. They start dating. And so naturally, like, again, Kyle was like one of his best friends, and I was one of her best friends, and so we just did stuff together all the time.
Yeah.
And so we built a pretty big and pretty nice basis of like a relationship and a friendship prior to dating, although like we got together fairly quickly. Anyways, he was just wonderful. Both of them were, and I just adored both of them so much. And I had known, I was like, I think I really like this man. I was like, he is absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
He like loves the Lord. He's so kind. He's a gentleman. And I was like, yeah, I think I really like this guy.
And had you dated anyone before this?
Nope.
Not a single person. Have you kissed anyone before
No.
this? Not a single kiss?
No.
Okay, so you weren't like looking around.
Nope.
You were like...
Nope. Again, mind you,
Yeah.
I'm coming from the background of like, I had always thought I was not going to get married till late 20s, maybe 30s.
Gotcha.
I never planned on it. I never wanted to.
Yeah.
I wasn't even interested in dating in high school. I think there were 2 guys who I like kind of talked to.
Yeah.
And then very quickly I was like, ugh. Like it just,
Yeah,
I was like, it's too much work, which is so funny being so young. I don't know why I was just like, nah. And I remember too, I like prayed so hard and so often. I was like, Lord, give me a one and done. Like that was my prayer. I was like, let me just meet a man that I can just like start dating and get married and have it be perfect. Anyways, so like we just get really close. At the time, he was like, Kyle, he was like barely talking to a girl who lived in another state. And again, too, I'm also 17, so I was like, meh. Nothing's gonna come out of this. That's fine. And so like we're all like hanging out, having a really good time.
Yeah.
And then it's like just us 4, and we like get closer and closer and just like are really good friends. And then I am like a week away from turning 18, and I had planned this fun trip to a little town to Bend in Oregon. And it was going to be like my one friend and the other gal, and we were just going to go on a fun trip for my birthday.
Yeah. The one friend who was like dating the other guy.
Yes.
That's like
not
Kyle's
the
best
engaged
friend.
one. Yes.
So like the duo.
The
duo couple.
Yes. So we like planned a whole fun trip, and it was like the night before, and the night before my birthday, I'm like texting her, like, hey, are we still on to like do this and this?
Girls trip. Just
fun
a
girls trip.
Yeah.
And this is kind of where the unfortunate parts of our friendship happen, because she ends up texting me and is like, actually, scratch that. I'm not coming anymore. Because again, her boyfriend's family lives in Bend, lives in this town. She's like, I'm actually just going to go with him and we're going to stay with his family.
Oh.
Yeah.
So like your birthday trip, but like minus you.
Yep, pretty much.
Oh.
And
sorry.
so, yeah. And then the other friend who was supposed to go bails.
Oh.
So I was like, okay.
There's that resurfacing of like, nobody loves me.
Oh, yeah. So it's like coming back up again. And I was like, oh, beautiful. Like another birthday trip canceled or like something like that. And again, like I like love and adore like my 2 high school best friends. But like we all like have our own stuff kind of going on. And you know that like young adult life of like, hey, we're kind of doing our own thing and doing this and figuring things out. And so it was never any like hard feelings because I didn't hang out with them as much at the time. It was like we were all kind of doing very similar things, and especially after that mission trip, you just get so bonded when you go through something like that with people. But anyways, they like ended up going on the trip by themselves and like had a wonderful time with his family. And so I was just like, okay, I guess that's not happening. And then Kyle, he sends me a text message because again, we like go on hikes together all the time at this point.
And this is still before your birthday?
This is the day before my birthday.
Oh.
The day before my birthday.
So like a whole week went by. You were supposed to go on that trip. She went on it without you. Posting all this stuff probably. So exciting. How much fun.
She actually she didn't have Instagram at the time, so thankfully I didn't have to look at
God.
anything.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
actually, I also didn't have Instagram at the time.
So they were like crying and scrolling.
Like, it's fine. So anyways, Kyle ends up texting me and he's like, are you stoked for the trip? Because he knew about it. And then so I told him what happened.
Again. Not the like, why'd you ask?
And he was like, that's awful. I'm so sorry. Like, let's go do something fun. I will pick you up and like we'll go to Hood River, which I love Hood River, which is another cute little like mountain town in Oregon. And I was like, okay. And so like he picks me up and like it's my birthday. And
is it the day of your birthday too?
Yeah, it's my actual birthday.
Cute.
And we like just spend the whole day in Hood River. We just have so much fun. We go to coffee shops, we're walking around, we're hiking, and like having a wonderful time.
Is this the first time you guys spent like one-on-one?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh my gosh.
Because again, we like always did stuff with like friends and around people. And so like after that, I remember like I was like a little nervous because again, I was like, yeah, I kind of have a crush on this guy, but like I'm also cool with where it's at, you know?
Was he still talking to the girl too?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. So nothing's going on between them. And so anyways, that kicked off the like us hanging out kind of alone or doing more stuff together like that. And so I was just so thankful and we had so much fun. And I was like, thank you so much. That was a wonderful birthday. And he was like, of course, I'm so happy I got to spend it with you. Like, I'll see you later. See you next weekend or whatever. Because again, like I'm still finishing off high school at this point. So time's going by, like maybe a week or two goes by, and it's like kind of not much between me and that friend that I think that slowly, we were still close, but I think that slowly started the like end to our friendship, unfortunately, because they just got like closer and closer and like secluded more and more. And then, and even like same thing for Kyle. He like saw less of that gentleman. I saw less of her. And then again, so that kind of left us to be like, well, I guess we'll do stuff together. And then like Kyle, one of his other really good friends, we became really close with. And he's awesome. He ended up being Kyle's best man in the wedding. And anyways, so like we're just doing more and more stuff together. He's home. At this point, I am just now, like he does not know anything about my family, my upbringing, my dad. I have such a funny memory of the house we lived in had a theater room, and it was me, Kyle, and again, our best friend who was one of his groomsmen. Besides the point, we are watching a movie, and he like was like, hey, I've been wanting to ask this, not Kyle, the other friend was like, but I've just been really nervous too. So is your like dad like passed away, or like we just never see him? And I was like, oh, my parents are divorced. And he was like, oh, thank goodness. He was like, he's like, not thank goodness, but he's like, I was wondering. I didn't know if he just worked like
God,
nights.
you're not one of those orphans.
And like, no, seriously. And he's like, I just didn't know if he like worked nights, and like I didn't want to be disrespectful, and like if we're here often, I just wanted to introduce myself. And I was like, no, you're sweet, but I'm like, you're fine. And they both were like, oh, we like didn't know that. Anyways, so that's like the point where I'm like, oh yeah, well I can give you a little bit of background on my family, and so I fill him in a little bit here. Anyways, so again, I end up like a couple weeks go by, and like Kyle and I are still just like hiking, like doing fun stuff all together. And then it was a week from my birthday. A week goes by, and in between that time, I had a conversation with him because again, my oldest sister is wonderful, and she was like taught me a ton about relationships, and she's like, when I like me and like her husband at the time, she's like, when we like had our first date, we like sat down and talked about our expectations.
This is oldest sister that you like love their marriage. Okay.
And she's like, we talked about our expectations because we're like, if like we're not matching up, what's the point? Because like we're dating to get married. We don't want to date around just to date around for the sake of like it being fun. And so I was like, well, I guess I'm doing that. And so like in between this time, Kyle and I are hanging out, and I was like, I need to talk to you. And I'm like, so I really like you. And I was like, I don't want you to discount me just because I'm younger than you. And I'm going to have you think on that. And I'm going to have you pray on that. But let me know when you're done. And like, basically it was like, and that was it. And then a week from my birthday, we were hanging out. And then we were like, let's talk about everything. And then we ended that night with him asking me to be his girlfriend. And we shook on it.
That was so cute.
And then so that was wonderful and awesome. And then I shortly after graduated high school. And so when we officially started dating, we were kind of like, so YWAM, Montana, what's the plan? And so backstory, when I was supposed to be gone in YWAM, my best friend was having her wedding.
Okay.
Oldest sister, pregnant.
Oh, wow.
Supposed to give birth.
Yep.
Middle sister, pregnant, supposed to give birth.
So your middle sister had gotten married at this point.
Yes, she's gotten married at this point. And she's gotten married. And so I like reach out to YWAM, and I'm like, hey, I have 2 weddings I'm in, and one wedding I'm in, and both my older sisters are giving birth. What is the protocol program? Because again, it's COVID.
Yep.
And so they basically told me it's not really possible because the testing, the back and forth. And so I was like, I don't think I should go. And then of course I met Kyle and we started dating and I was like, I'm not going. And so I end up not going and I end up just getting like certified as a personal trainer and a nutrition coach and like going down that fun like fitness route and all of that. But some kind of like backstory also what's going on in between. There were some unfortunate like circumstances that had happened. I don't want to go too far in depth with just because it still feels fresh. It still feels raw in a way. But someone very close in our family, some unfortunate things happened in like their relationship. And it was just another gentleman that was super disappointing. And it just really shook my family all over again. And that caused so much stress because then it caused now my mom to be so stressed out for me in my relationship of like, well, do you know this guy? Can you even trust this guy? Like, we thought we knew this guy. We thought we trusted this guy. So that just added extra stress and extra like, well, yeah, I'm like very confident about this gentleman, but like, I like feel violated. My like family feels violated. And we're just like, I just don't really know how to move forward. And all of this happened.
So, like, comfortability wise,
Yes.
Are you comfortable saying that it was like something sexual that happened that was like a breach of trust?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can say that. Okay. And I will, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I feel like that kind of sets the premise of like
the intensity of the situation.
Yeah, and also like just like the type of betrayal where it's like, I don't feel safe.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was along the lines of that.
Okay.
And so now I just like don't really feel safe. I don't feel comfortable at home. Neither does my mom. And we just like don't know kind of what to do or how to move forward. And ironically, like the day that it was found out and it happened was my senior skip day. And so I wasn't even home. Oh. And like, Kyle was home hanging out with my family. And I like come home and he's like, hey, I walk into the front door and it's like both of them sitting down and like my mom crying. And I'm like, oh, what's happening? And it basically is just like, we're not going to be seeing X, Y, and Z for a little while. And here's why. And that was insane.
Oh my gosh.
It was absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And again, just one more of like another gentleman.
Yeah.
It was just so hard because again, when you in my family with like having so much disappointment from all the men that have been in our life who should be good figures.
Yeah.
Understandably so. I think like my mom's mama bird kicks in. And I think that was really stressful, unfortunately, for Kyle and I's relationship because it's like we strived so hard to put the Lord in the center of our relationship. And we like consistently prayed of like, Lord, like if this is not, like if we shouldn't be together, break us up. We are fine doing that. And like, we just like green light after green light, you know, just like I knew he was the one for me and I knew that it was a good relationship because he was the first person I ever felt at home with.
Yeah.
And like, again, I'm like meeting nice, fine gentlemen at this point, but it was just something about him. I just met him and I was like, you are home.
Yeah.
And it was so beautiful to see and to feel and to like get into a relationship with and be taken care of. But of course, there are like definitely things that I could have done better in the beginning of our relationship. I like kind of hoarded him because I was like, like panic. Like I just like am scared. Again, getting into a relationship brought up so much like new trauma I didn't know I had from my dad.
Yeah.
It was the fear of like, if I let you go, you're not going to love me anymore. And like dealing with all of that and having to work through that. And again, Kyle was just so gentle and patient. And when all of this is coming up, I'm like officially graduated with high school. That's done. This situation happens with somebody close in our family. And so now there's like extra stress and extra like, I just don't know what to do moving forward, like with family stuff in general. And then also like my two closest best friends, like the ones who I went on the mission trip with, are just rocky relationships. My best friend who's engaged, I love her to death. But she just didn't handle change very well. And I think seeing me change so much after the mission trip for what I thought and what people around me thought was for the better, but then also like immediately like jump into a relationship and it be like a serious one. And I'm very happy, but then have family stuff go on.
Yeah.
I think it was just a lot of like new situations, new person, new timing. Who are you now? Like sort of deal. And I think that kind of just rocked our friendship in a negative way because she's just hitting the like, oh, I found my person. I'm like married, getting married. And like
Yeah.
we're like now settling down and doing our own thing and like figuring out married life as a new
Yeah.
couple, a young couple. And so I think it was just so much different movement and
Yeah.
situations. And that was really tricky because it was like the people I felt I needed and wanted the most, it was like I didn't really have that connection with anymore. But my mentor at the time in that Bible study, that leader, she is still very wonderful and in my life. And I'm like keeping her updated, and like same with just our other like young adults at like the other church we met at
Yeah.
and whatever. But that was a lot.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And I feel like it's something that I just like recently have brought up and like prepping and thinking about this episode have been thinking about again. And I think it's been really good for me
Yeah.
just to see the way the Lord has like
Yeah.
worked and still redeemed relationships
Yeah.
in my life.
And the view of like a good father,
Uh-huh.
right? And like a
has
perfect man.
shown through
Yeah.
like crazy. Because again, I have like nights where I will just sit and just sob for my younger self, because like just thinking about how like sad I was, or how I felt so lonely, or how I felt so like silenced, like I couldn't talk or I couldn't share my opinion. And like it does make me so sad, because I don't know why, hearing that once, I just stuck with it. And it really I just felt like I didn't matter.
Yeah.
And like what I wanted to do or whatever. And again, of
Yeah.
course, it didn't help that I had some situations where it didn't matter.
Yeah.
And so that just kept me like
Yeah.
silent. Kyle was so much of a rainbow in my life. And it's so wonderful, that mission trip and that whole like course of my life
Yeah.
after, of course, like crazy things had happened, but it was just so beautiful to see where God
Yeah.
met me. Because again, it's like I'm like going through things left and right,
Yeah.
but I like feel so at peace.
Yeah.
In a very beautiful but strange way. Like I have a wonderful man who loves me,
Yeah.
who like knows my family story and is like here for me and like comforting me and like there for my family. But yet at the same time, it's like more family stuff's happening. Now my two friends who I was close with, I'm not close with very much anymore. And like that's kind of getting rocky. And so again, it's just strange to see. And again, so the beginning of our relationship, like I said, we could have done things better, because like I was just like stressed and like kind of hoarded him. And I was
Well,
like,
you're also going through like some of the hardest times in your life.
oh
and so
yeah,
you just want
so
to
it makes sense. And
Yeah.
so, and again, with him feeling like safety, I was like, I want to be safe.
Yeah.
I want safety to be near me. And so understandably so. But a little bit of time goes on. So I'm like officially graduated from high school, and we've dated for a solid 4 months.
Yeah.
And then we're just sitting here and we're like, so we're sitting here and like, again, our relationship's going wonderful. I like met his grandparents and most of his family, because they live in Idaho.
Yeah.
And so we like go back to Hood River, our favorite place, and we like stumble upon a jewelry store. And we're like, should we go inside? And so we like, that was the first time we browsed at rings.
Oh my
And it was
goodness.
so fun. I like tried on a bunch, but it's like, it's just so funny to me, like voicing and saying all this out loud. Cause again, it's like so much is going on, but I've like hit
Yeah.
the point where I'm like, that home bubble is not my life. Like I'm like
Yeah.
seeing the freedom
Yeah.
of adult life and in being in a relationship, and like watching the Lord like literally like provide a new path for me. And it's just so beautiful to watch. Cause again, so anyways, we end up getting engaged at 4 months, and then
Yeah.
let's see here, I want to make sure I have that right, because
4 months.
yeah,
huh?
we get engaged
We
at
were
4
9.
months, and then
9, yep.
we get married almost 4.5 months later.
Yep. Ours
And
was 2.
I love
Wait,
it.
how long total was your?
Under a year,
Yeah, ours was 2. But like, what exactly?
'Cause
I'm
let's
pretty
see,
sure we
so-
were 11 months.
because we started dating. We dated
Less
for
than
4
11
months, and then I planned a wedding for 4 months later. So
8.
yeah, like just about 8 months. But then I had known him again just a
Right.
little bit
Yeah,
before,
yeah,
but
yeah.
we weren't
But you weren't
dating at the
dating.
time. No.
8 months. Just under 11, like 9.5.
And
That's
of course,
crazy.
like understandably so,
Or 10.5. Yeah.
the people who knew us, who had spent so much time with us, were so stoked
Yeah.
and so excited.
Yeah.
But the people who didn't know us very well were like, you guys are crazy. Which I can understand,
Yeah.
like from the outside, because also
Yep.
we were the first couple from a friend group
Yeah.
to get married, and also like with a little bit of an age gap too. I'd imagine it's probably just kind of strange.
Jarring.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
jarring at first, but
Yeah.
every person who we met and like talked to and we hung out with, they were like, "Oh, this makes so
Yeah.
much sense."
Yep.
And they were just immediately stoked. But again, it
Yep.
was the people who didn't really know us who were kind of like,
Yeah.
"Okay, sure."
Yeah. I remember that with Joey too. My dad and my stepmom were like, obviously they were really worried about timeline.
Yes.
Because they were like, you just got divorced. Are you sure you're ready for marriage again? And I was like, marriage isn't the problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they like loved Joey so much. They still love him so much. And I like remember my dad, like the time that Joey took my dad out to go ask for his hand or ask for my hand. I like remember Joey was like, yeah, I like asked the question and he answered it in the first 2 minutes. And then he went on like a spiel for like an hour about like how excited he is to like have me a part of the family and like life lessons that he has to pass on. And so like, it's just
really
so
cute.
sweet, but
That's really sweet.
yeah.
But yes, so at this point, we get engaged.
Yeah.
And I am stoked. I'm so excited. I like can't wait. We plan a road trip because again, Kyle's parents are living in Idaho.
Yes.
And we road trip together to come stay with them and to tell them. And like Kyle, again, I took my ring off and Kyle like pulled out the photo of like our engagement and like was like, hey mom, like I really want to show you a really cool photo. And she just starts sobbing. Aww. And then Courtney, my sister-in-law, she's like, what is it? And like hands the phone over and then she starts sobbing. Aww. And like another way the Lord has shown up for me and like redeemed, I think, my view on families is Kyle's family is wonderful. His mom and dad have such a beautiful marriage and relationship. And like it's just so beautiful to see. And like his sister's wonderful. And I just feel so blessed that I married into such a wonderful family. But yeah, some more friendship breakups and just crazy things unfortunately happen. The couple who we were really good friends with in the beginning, we knew they were getting married and they had talked about it. However,
the double date couples. Okay.
We ended up getting married and engaged before them. And I think that was a little bit of a trigger because they were very diligent about, I don't remember what it was. They're very diligent about like, we want to wait for a specific thing.
Yes. Yeah.
And we just were like, we didn't have ready. A specific thing. Yeah. And so People, yes.
Process relationships completely different, and I think comparison is really hard.
It is. And I know both of them too had past relationships that they were working through, and so besides the point. So they didn't love that, and she was originally going to be in my bridal party, and then she had sat me down and was like, hey, I don't think it's a good idea for me to be a bridesmaid. Also, they're engaged now at this time.
Okay.
And she's like, also, the gentleman, he doesn't support you guys, so he's not coming to the wedding.
His best friend? They had been his best friend for like however long or whatever, that guy?
Yeah. And so now looking back, Kyle was like, maybe it was a little bit more of a friendship of convenience because you were just around each other. But he's like, but we were still like close. Like he even worked for his business for a little bit. Anyways, besides the point, so it was just messy. It was very messy. And I'm like, again, 18 years old, like trying to figure out in a mature way of like reaching out to mentors and like, how do I handle this? And so then we ended up deciding that I didn't think it was best for her to be a bridesmaid and that I was like, you both are welcome to come to the wedding. But I was like, I understand you're kind of in a pickle of like now like getting married and like you guys will be one anyways. And so she basically told me that I was invited to their wedding but Kyle was not, and so we would be married at that point. So I told her I would most likely not be attending the wedding. So I didn't go, and she ended up coming to mine, which was
fine.
I still think like knowing the situation, the relationship, I think it was very nice of her to come, but like after that we just never talked.
So hard.
And we just, we weren't friends. And then at this point too, the one friend who I grew up with, again, like we are in the process of like we are getting married, like the wedding's coming up in a couple months. And she basically was like, hey, let's go get coffee. And so like we sit down and go to coffee together. And we had a wonderful time. And we are seeing each other like less and less at this time. Right. She's stoked for Kyle and I to be dating, but we're seeing each other less and less.
She's the one that is engaged and like is having the wedding, planning the wedding. Very exciting.
At this point, she's married.
Oh,
so
okay.
This is at this point she's married. Because she got married. It was like almost, I think it was like quite a few months before Kyle and I did. Because again, she's also a year older than me. Anyways, so she like, let's go out to coffee. Wonderful. Had such a fun time. And then we have like a 2-hour coffee hang. And she basically ends the hangout of like, also, I don't want to be friends anymore. Like, I don't want to be best friends anymore.
Whoa.
And so I just, like, felt so blindsided of, like, granted, I
Did
knew
she
we
say,
weren't.
like, why? Or, like...
She literally just ended the conversation with, like, I just don't want to be best friends anymore. She's like, I just have tried so hard. So, like I said, during this point in my Kyle and I's relationship, during the beginning of our relationship, like I said, I hoarded him. I was going through so much. And so she was a big voice of reason for me during that time. She was like, you're being very dependent and it's not healthy. And so, again, she helped me a ton. But she basically went at that conversation of, like, I tried to help you. You didn't listen. And I'm tired of it.
Oh.
And she told me that I needed
Oh.
to strengthen my relationship with the Lord. She gave me a book that says when you can't or when you don't depend on God.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
And she told me I needed to be in my Bible more. She told me I needed to be a stronger believer.
I'm so sorry, but, like, God gave us community for a reason. We're not meant to be alone with God. I was, like, literally just telling one of my girlfriends this, but, like, she's doing a dating sabbatical. And I remember she's like, I'm just so, like, uncontent just sitting at home. And I was like, you're not meant to just sit at home if you're single. Like,
Yeah.
God designed us for community. Like, we
Yeah.
need people. We need
Yeah.
one another to bear one another's burdens. And if you're going through hard times, you shouldn't just be sitting at home alone.
Yeah.
That's what causes depression and suicide.
Yeah.
Like, you should be
Dude, I've
around
sat in that before,
people
like
that
the
love
depression,
you and care
yeah.
about you. And, like, if your friends were just, like, not there for you and you found comfort and peace with your boyfriend at the time, like, what is, yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So that was a big
I'm so sorry.
shock. Yeah. That was hard because she was the one who at that point I'd been friends with for, like, what, 5 years now or whatever it was, almost more than that, almost 6 years. And so, again, like I said, like, I'm fully admitting my own faults. Like, we could have been so much better about, like, the time we saw each other, like, saw other people and other friends during the start of our relationship.
Yeah.
And, like, I apologize for that. We talked so much about it. But that was also another big, like, okay, Lord, I don't know what you are doing with our community and with our friends, but, like, we feel so much peace in our relationship and, like, we're getting married and, like, those closest to us at the moment are stoked and, like, they're so excited. And so, like, obviously we get married. And then me and that one friend who, like, with after the coffee date, we, like, try and, like, continue to hang out and, like, continue to see each other because, again, it's like you can't just 6 years, you know what I mean? And so, like, she, like, comes to the wedding. It was, like, it was wonderful. And we had such a great time. But again, it just was never the same after that.
Yeah.
And I feel really bad because we had a follow-up convo and it was just kind of intense. She had our wedding certificate.
How did she get that?
She was at the wedding. Her and her husband
okay.
were, like, one of the witnesses who helped sign the
okay.
certificate. So, like, we're still, like, close,
Yeah.
you know, and we're just, like, figuring out what our relationship looks like moving forward. But it's just sad to look back on because, again, it's just, like, one more area where I wish I would have been like, no. Or, like, one more area would have been like, okay, bummer. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, navigated it a little bit different. But that's also besides the point. So, yeah. So, like, we get married and we know that we're going to move to Idaho because that's where Kyle's parents live. We love it over here. And we were like, we knew if we ever had kids in the future, like, we want to raise our kids in Idaho, not Portland. And so we are, like, already prepping and planning. And so after we got married, we lived with my mom for a couple months to, like, pack up our things and get our money and, like, packed up and moved here. And during that time frame, we were moving in a couple days. I was like, where is our wedding certificate? I don't have it. And so I, like, reached out to her and was like, hey, do you have it?
Need this.
And she's like, I have it. And so she dropped it off and I, like, tried to just, like, pick it up from her and she wouldn't let me. I had to get in the car and have a full-on conversation with her for her to give me my wedding certificate. I will say it ended up being a great convo because I, like, again, just, like, after that first convo with her, just prayed so heavy and so hard of, like, what to say, what to do moving forward. And it was a wonderful convo because I feel like I got the, like, emotional clarity and closure we both did of, like, hey, I, like, don't hold any resentment or anything towards you. I am moving in a couple days. Like, I love you and I wish the absolute best for you. However, like, how our relationship has gone, that is not friendship to me. Like, and, like, you've also made that clear that that's not what you're interested in pursuing. And so
Yeah.
that was it. And like, I got it, and that was the end of that. And it was rough and it was hard.
Yeah.
But I guess where I'm going to the point of all these examples and stories is that when we moved to Idaho, I think it was just honestly a door closing to open for so much deeper and more rooted community than I ever thought I would ever have. When we moved here, it was probably a solid year before like I like was like trying, and we were trying so hard to make friends and to get plugged into Bible studies.
Yeah.
And I like, again, my high school best friend, we're still so close. We like FaceTime almost every week or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was just talking to her the other day, and she's like, it is so cool to see how the Lord has shown up for you, like time and time again. She's like, I remember when for that, like almost for a full year, you would call me being like, please pray for community, please pray for community, to like, pray for me, I'm in a Bible study, like, oh my gosh, I'm in a marriage group, I'm in whatever. And then like, she's like, and to think like you and your best friend are literally starting a podcast together now.
Yeah.
And so all that being said,
Yeah.
it's just been a crazy life, but it's so beautiful to see where the Lord meets you no matter the circumstance. And like, sucky things can happen in any kind of situation and relationship, no matter how. We're all human, we're all sinful, but God is so good. Even looking back on it now, of course there are things I wish I could change in friendships and like how I handled things, but like that's just like part of my testimony, it's part of my story now. And I just hope people can listen, whether they're going through like friendship breakups or whether they're like, I don't have a relationship with my dad, I like have trauma from X, Y, and Z. Like, it gets better, and like, just seek after the Lord and he will meet you where you're at. And that's what's so beautiful about having a relationship with the Lord, because like I said, like I never thought I could have such wonderful and amazing community after like that start, after losing so much. And granted, I like gained my forever best friend, my husband, in the process, and I adore him and I love him, and I'm so thankful for him. But like how God has shown up in our life together, I just feel so blessed in how he's redeemed me and how much of an amazing husband he is and how he treats me. And never settle.
That was, I like loved hearing the full extended version.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so beautiful to see like God continue to like remind you who he is through all of it, and like the constant friend we have in Jesus too. Like, it's just
and like how it's so neat to me too how the Lord has shown up in all of my passions too, and how he's like, hey, this matters, what I've placed on your heart matters, and to like see me carry that through. I'm just so thankful. I'm thankful for the people he's put in my life. I'm thankful for my husband. I'm thankful for you so much and all of it. And so I think Kyle and I have drawn a very healthy boundary.
Good.
He is wonderful in that sense where he's like, I will protect you. And so I don't ever have to worry or anything. So that's wonderful. I'm not concerned at all about safety or anything like that.
Whatever happened, has that like affected your view on like your marriage and like men and like sexual stuff in general too?
It did, definitely. Probably, I want to say for the first like year of our marriage, it was very like difficult for me of like, again, like in Christian culture, it's like abstain your whole entire life. And then like, you're married, have fun. It's like, whoa.
It's jarring.
It is jarring. But then now having an extra layer of like, like I just like stress, or an extra layer of like, well, this thing that happened, like, I don't know if it happened to me. I don't think it did, but now it's just an extra layer of like, hey, like, this is something that I only ever thought or expected would be between like a husband and myself. And now that it might not have been, I like dealt with so much anger when it came with that, because like, that's not fair. Like, I didn't get a say in that. I didn't get a choice in that when I should have. And so I think that was the biggest like hiccup for me of like, just wanting to make sure that I was quote unquote doing things on my terms, which obviously caused a little bit of strife because it's not just you in a marriage. It's like you and your partner. And so I think that was something
there's a difference between you choosing something and something happening to you.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think that line gets blurred almost of like, okay, well, the thing itself is already done.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter who did it or like if I had a choice or whatever, but like, it's done.
Yeah.
And like, it almost makes this view of like tainted or like it's ruined for me.
And I think the Lord has done a lot of redeeming and like not letting that be the case. And so I'm very happy about that. That's not something that comes up at all in our relationship anymore. So praise God for that. But it definitely was at first, and we had to work through that together. And like, once we like got to the root of like why I had these feelings of like, why do I want so much control in this area? Or like, why am I so extra cautious in this area? And once we like figured it out, was wonderful, because then it just like felt all the more like safe. And then again, remembering who the Lord made my wonderful husband to be and like how he's treated me and who he is, it, like no stress.
Yeah, I'm so glad. It's so wonderful to like hear God's consistent like redemption in your life, and it's not just like an event, but he's just
so
like
many
constantly been there, that you can just like every time something starts to flare up that could turn into like literally like World War III, you just like Jesus, like
I'm like, I'm okay.
Yeah, I love that.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
I know, and I feel like that's where you can seriously see the Lord like mend and pull like my spiritual gifts.
Yeah. And I think it's beautiful too that you're able to like look at the friendships and the stuff that had happened and be like, no, I needed this person here.
Oh yeah.
Because I think it also exemplifies another part that we love to talk about, which is like friendships and stuff that happen in friendships. And like God can place people in your life for a specific season and you really need them. It doesn't diminish that either, like what happens afterwards or like how painful stuff ends up being. Like God places people in your life and they help you in the season that you're in. And like, hopefully that never changes and hopefully they stay for forever.
Yeah,
but
of
like
course.
stuff happens, people change, and not everybody changes in the way we want them to or they want us to.
I know, and just touch on that a little bit. I think something that we have connected on, I think when you grow up and you are a certain way around people for a long period of time, they almost don't allow you to change. And I think that's what can be so beautiful about sometimes like new friendships is because you're seeing the person as who they are now or who the Lord has changed and molded them to be.
I remember my therapist telling me when I was like in the process of like I'm gonna leave my ex, and it's like everybody's just gonna know. And they're all going to know that I was like the 19-year-old that got pregnant and then I had got divorced at, 22 or whatever. And I remember she looked at me and she was like, Katie, there's going to be a time where all of your friends or most of your friends have never known you before who you are now. And I was like, that is such a relief. And like,
yeah, it is.
Like, there's something so wonderful about being fully known and like having somebody that walks through that life with you. But like, I kind of envision it as like, we're all flowers in a garden, right? Like God loves the garden analogies. I love them too. It makes so much sense. We're all flowers in a garden. We're all plants in a garden. And at one point, the type of plants that you're around either allow you to flourish and grow with them and they benefit you, you benefit them, you continue to like grow together, or the roots outgrow each other and they vie for space. And one outgrows the other and doesn't allow the other to grow. And at that point, like, you just have to be planted elsewhere.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
beautiful.
Hard. It's so hard. It's like...
It is hard.
I think that friendship breakups are so much worse than any other type of breakup. I've been through, like, other breakups, and, like, they're hard, but I feel like the, like, romantic breakups, you're always like, eh. Like, it's hard. Like, I envision this life with you or whatever. But, like, you're also like, okay, but, like, oh, well.
Yeah.
Like I know the reasons.
Yeah.
And the reasons are like, you don't like me. And we can't be romantically together if you don't like me.
Yeah.
Or, we don't work out together.
Yeah.
You can't just like stay dating if you aren't in love with each other.
I get what you're saying.
But like with friends, it's so much harder because like you could just like, hey, I don't think we're as close as we used to be, but like, that's okay. And I'm really happy that you're in my life.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen.
No.
I don't know why the friendship breakups end up being so much harder. Like just so dramatic and so over the top and painful. And I feel like that's so much harder because again, it could end differently.
Yeah.
You could still be a part of each other's lives and just like, make amends and move forward at different boundaries. But yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get into that a lot later. Thank you so much for sharing your testimony. I know that this has been like a hard one, and I know that there's a lot of stuff that you like haven't touched on before. So like I just appreciate you, and I appreciate your vulnerability, and I hope that people that are listening that have been through something similar and resonate with how Grace has felt, can find comfort knowing that Jesus was there for her and He's there for you.
He's in the details, especially looking back. To end on one more thing I wanted to talk about, and just real quick.
Yeah.
Just to add and tie the bow on Kyle and I's relationship. I forgot to mention that we were each other's first boyfriend and first kiss and all of that.
His too?
Aww. First girlfriend, first official everything.
Very cute.
Anyways, I just want to tie a bow
so beautiful.
on that.
I just feel like
give you guys hope.
So beautiful that you like have had terrible guy figures or whatever that have done like cheating and infidelity and all these terrible things, and then God placed the man in your life that's like,
home.
No worries. There's no worries. And I love that. I'm just so yeah, I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
Hold on to hope, girls.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Alrighty.
Well, we will see you guys in 2 weeks.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
Bye.
Bye.